welcome to this update, welcome to this Q&A. But first, update, because I'm clearly in a new area. I don't want to honestly speak too much on where it is yet. It is just out of my comfort zone. I really had a crazy week, first of all, because the day that I left the place that I got to keep my suitcase, and my suitcases are still there, I didn't expect to stay at all, and I got to stay for a week, so I'm grateful for that. But I kind of know where I'm not respected or wanted, and when I kind of get that feeling, it's just really hard for me to stay there, especially since like I had a lot of strife a couple months ago about it. I didn't want to deal with this situation again. When it was leading towards that, I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna leave when I said I was gonna leave. And then the first night, I kind of just went with the whims. I let myself celebrate. I was in a very celebratory energy instead of being scared. I didn't know where I was gonna sleep that night. I don't even think I actually slept that night. I went to 24-hour Good Life for a bit. I couldn't even work out. I was so tired. I got there at like 12 and I tried to stay there for as long as I could, but because I wasn't working out and because I couldn't really sleep there, I was like, what am I doing here? After Good Life, I went to, where did I go? I went to a Timmy? No, I forgot where I went that night. Honestly, it's just such a blur. I led to having like another full day, and this time I was just so exhausted because I didn't really sleep the night before, and I didn't know where I was sleeping that night either, and I was really trying to stay in high hopes. And I went to libraries, I went to a cafe to just chill and eat and have some just time to be kind of in a social area. And then I eventually ended up at an A&W. I was gonna go to a Timmy's, but I ended up at A&W, slept there, and I felt comfy to sleep there because there was actually 2 other homeless men sleeping there already. I was a little bit nervous and scared at first because one of them was scaring me. They were intoxicated, but then when I saw he was out, I was like kind of ready to go to sleep myself. I saw that the workers weren't bothering them, so I was like, okay, if they're not gonna bother them, they're not gonna bother me, and if they do, at least I'm gonna shoot my shot, see how long I could try to sleep for. I think in total, because I kept waking up every 15 minutes, I was very uncomfy. I was sleeping at the tables like this, so it was just not comfy. I was sleeping on my chicken buddy burgers. Yeah, I woke up and ate it. Total, I think I slept 2 hours, but I was there for like 4 or 5 hours. When the sun came out, I left, and then I just went for a walk around, and I was like, what is happening? What am I doing this for? Like, I just don't understand. And it's just hard because I'm just tired. Now I'm just tired at this point of like feeling like I'm facing this homeless threat of like no roof over and over again, and I've been in a threat of that since July, so I'm just exhausted at this point about it. It's hard to explain to other people what's happening with me. They want definite answers, but I can't even give myself definite answers. Like, I'm really following the whims of the wind. Like, I have full intuition mode happening, and I can't really fully say I don't know what's happening because I kind of do, like in the sense of a bigger picture, I know what's happening, but these day-to-day times are tough. That's why I'm always coming to like lessons really soon after I go through something, because I don't let myself sit in my shit for too long. I'm just like, why am I in this? I really want to know. For sure, that night that I slept in A&W and woke up, and I sat at a bench just staring at the sun, was like, okay, show me why I'm here. I really fully surrender. I don't understand it anymore. I feel like I'm hitting a different sense of rock bottom because now I really don't have anything to fall back on. Now I'm really out of using any kind of control. Like, I have no idea what's happening. Show me why I'm here. I just started feeling hopeful, honestly. As soon as I started receiving this support, I started getting other kinds of support from a lot of other strangers online and stuff, and it was really heartwarming hearing the friends who have supported me throughout like this homeless journey say how excited they are for like what it's starting to look like now, like because they were even as confused. The friends I made throughout like this homeless journey, they aren't on a spiritual path like I am, type of thing, or if they are, it's not as like deep as I am right now, and so they don't really understand what I was doing at all, and they haven't this whole time, like, because I couldn't give them a definite answer. They just had to kind of trust and have faith in me, and they did. And that's the part that I was just like, So there are people like that. Amazing. I'm excited for this next chapter. I don't even think it's a chapter at this point. It's a whole book now. I feel like I washed away a lot of black and a lot of my old past with so much love and so much gratitude. My anger and resentment has been really felt and understood during these last few days being at A&W and stuff, and just really feeling the anger, because I was like, why am I going through this? I went through like a victim pity party. It's like, why do I keep going through this? I don't fucking get it. I woke up on the last day before choosing to come here. I woke up and realized I had to face my anger. I had to really release that anger, because the anger that I was carrying that would get triggered and then like presented, even like to this point, was the fact that it's like from past pain, from past anger, that I feel like it just clicked for me in the morning, where I was like, I am making myself stuck in this cycle because I always think something bad is gonna happen. I always think something is like, I always think I'm gonna be sad. I always think nothing's gonna work out for me. And then it just clicked. I was like, how do I let go of that message saying let go of anger, like the past burdens of anger? I'm angry. Like it's okay to be angry, and it's okay to understand why you get angry. And if I get angry in the future, understandable. It's part of the shadow. Understand it, love it. But to hold on to all of that old stuff that I've been trying to let go of this whole time, that almost felt like the last final piece. And that was something really hard for me to overcome. Like, I was literally sitting by the water in silence, like no earphones or anything. And I was just like sitting in disbelief kind of about how angry I've been and how much I'm really holding on to it, carrying it with me. You know, when I have like attacks, when I like attack others, when they attack me first, like I'm just like, sometimes I don't want to do that, but sometimes I'm just like, should I just do that? I don't know, it's a huge mix. But then now when I realize, like, if it has any like hold from the past, then I know I need to let go of that by now. I realize as I'm saying this right now, the ways that I got triggered with people coming for me was because I always wanted to prove my worth. And whenever people were saying like I'm lying about my situation, or that I'm being fake, or like, you know, this whole thing has been fake, and it was triggering, because I was like, no one's living beside me right now to understand. But then now I've come to this point where I'm like, I don't even care to prove it. If you really think, you know, my experience and just me coming online just to share a really sob story, and you just want to think it's fake, that's okay. That's not even on me anymore. Like, my whole YouTube has shown every week of what has happened to me since last year in April. That's all I need. That's all I need for myself. And I already know myself and my own story, so I don't need to prove it anymore. But what I want to do now is show people how to go from that to get to this, because I literally showed it, you know? So I want to be able to do it a shortcut version for others. On a really long tangent about my update, just please, I just want to relay how happy I am, how grateful I am. I'm truly excited to be here. It's just the exploration part of me is fueling right now, but right now I understand I'm kind of in rest still. This recuperation so far, and it's only been day 2, has already been so healing for me. Even chatting with the person I'm staying with, because it's not just super isolated like we chat, it's nice conversation too. So it's really hopeful. I'm excited. Everything's gonna turn out well. Everything's gonna continuously go well, because I put in all the work I needed to now enjoy my fruits, to now enjoy my garden. Like, I built the deepest, most variable, brightest greenhouse, and now I get to enjoy it. So here are the questions. What is your kryptonite when it comes to men? This question made me laugh at first, because a part of me was like, what do you mean? I have none of that. I think it's just been so long for me to really know what it is that I like, because everything so far in my past has been super like situational and stuff. I never really gave myself patience to fully see a person for who they are, and if I truly like them for the long term. It was really instant gratification in the past. So when I first saw that question, it was hard for me to think of, because I was like, I don't know how to answer that. Now I know just from seeing TikTok. So when I see other things, I'm like, okay, that's an ideal, you know? So on TikTok, when I'm seeing like these divine masculines do their just vlogging and all that stuff, I'm like, okay, there's men out there who are spiritual. There are men out there who are literally prioritizing their self-love so much, their nutrition, their just overall well-being, and they want to help the community. That's actually my kryptonite. I can't fully say like looks wise, because every man, like divine masculine I've seen on TikTok look different, but they gave me such like a wow. I don't know, I feel like if I see someone finally, I honestly haven't met anyone on a spiritual path, like a male who's on a spiritual path similar to mine yet. I think the moment that I see them, I think that might be it. I'll be like, I think I have been kept in hermit, kept single, kept, you know, to myself this long because I was waiting for specifically someone so closely aligned to me like that, like so like on that spiritual. And I'm so adamant on that spiritual thing because like I've had people ask like, oh, what if they get interested in it? What if like they're open to like hearing you talk about it? I'm like, I've had that before, and that's not long lasting for me, because if you aren't in it and that's the only thing I talk about, I would talk about that every day, and you are gonna eventually run out of things to meet me with, you know? That happened in a previous relationship that lasted a month. Like, he really tried to be open to listening to it, but at first I could tell that his interest couldn't even keep him in the conversation. And then second, like, it just doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like, because I want to resonate. I want to sorry, the Wi-Fi. I want to resonate with the people that like I share these things with, because it just means so much to me. Spiritual for sure, and already in it, so you kind of already understand. I don't want to be, the thing is, I feel like in my past relationships I've always been like a leader in a sense where I taught them things about life, and I just don't want to do that anymore. I don't. And ever since I took that all into me and like was just in this mode of constantly wanting to teach myself things, I've elevated. So now I just want someone who literally is on the same trajectory, someone who's constantly learning about themselves and life. And I feel like that goes hand in hand with spirituality and being on that journey, because you know, once you open a little bit of yourself, you kind of get more curious about your own abilities. And if you're around other people who kind of like break your imposter syndrome and you find more facets of yourself, it just becomes more beautiful. And I want that around me, and especially as a partner. Especially if I can say I want to go for any physical characteristics, I'd probably, I don't know, prefer someone with a more athletic build, because I am an active person currently. Like, I love to first go on walks all the time, and if there's just another sports activity, I'm always down, especially to try if I've never tried before. So I kind of want someone who, it's not that I'm looking for the athletic build, but I want someone who's athletic. So, you know, that looks different for everyone, but I just imagine my inner child just having the most fun with their inner child, building a house together, decorating the house with our inner child dreams. And I just, that's a dream to me. How do you find the confidence when it comes to sex? First, I want to freaking say I've never been like this the whole time. I lost my virginity when I was 14, but honestly, I didn't feel good about my body. I never felt good about my body until like last year. I never felt good about it. I lost my virginity out of curiosity, and I continue to like have sex and different partners, like with the people I would date, of course, but I would never try to explore. I was so vanilla, and it was just because I was so insecure. Like I was so insecure to the point where I didn't want them even going down on me. I didn't mind, but I didn't want them to go down on me. I just didn't feel good about it. And then most of the times it so slowly became a thing where I only wanted to have sex when I was like intoxicated by something. So it wasn't ever fully like I knew how to be owning my own sexuality until actually I opened my own OnlyFans. When I opened an OnlyFans, that's when I really allowed myself to be confident in my body and myself, because I was, you know, putting it online at that point. But with the ex I had that, so before the ex that I started my OnlyFans with, I had a period a year before where I kind of just had a hoe phase. That was the first time I really didn't care about what anyone thought, and because I always had this stigma that you could only have sex with the people you dated, I was always so scared to be ashamed if you didn't. So I held back on like that. I always went from relationship to relationship, and from that it was just always like, okay, that partner was, you know, the partner I'd have sex with, blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. But then that I had a year after the 6-year relationship where I was just like, okay, go crazy, download Tinder, go crazy. And my crazy was like, I think 5 people, but after the 5th person I was like, I'm more lonely than I think. Slowly with like those people, and because I was becoming more adventurous with myself, just honestly doing that, because when you're honestly letting yourself dive into that hookup culture, like you are learning about yourself. Maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but I definitely learned about myself in a sense where I was like, okay, I think I could be a little bit more confident. I was kind of gaining confidence slowly as each partner kind of passed, because they also brought in like different experiences too, so I was like widening my range. I was like, whoa, what is this? And then when I met the ex that I eventually made an OnlyFans during, we were exploring like, I felt like I was more comfy, the comfiest I've ever been in exploring a lot of more different things. So being in a relationship and also having someone be very explorative was helpful for me. Having an OnlyFans and just opening up my world to the whole sex world and all of that, I was like, whoa. And it was not even something I wanted to shy away from. I was so interested. I've always been interested in sex. I started watching porn when I was very young, like 6. It was on TV once and I just kind of couldn't stop after that. It was more out of curiosity. Like, I never watched to play with myself when I was that young. I only started playing with myself when I like lost my virginity. I would just watch it out of curiosity because I was kind of always surrounded by it. So I was like, curiosity kills. So yeah, this became my career. This became my career, and the confidence built every day. I came from a place where my confidence was 0. My self-esteem was 0. Like, I did not feel good about myself. My self-worth was so low. Like the year that I was having the hookup, you know what I kept saying to myself? I was like, I don't like myself. I hate myself. I don't love what I'm doing. So my self-talk was really, really bad before. So, you know, confidence is a skill that you practice a little bit more every day. You know, especially if you're coming from 0, slowly every day. You don't have to like go right in front of like a whole group of people and be like, this is me, what I'm doing. Like, don't worry about that. You'll build up to it. Do you get scared thinking that your friends could come across your adult pics? Honestly, when I first made my OnlyFans, I had a separate Instagram and Twitter for like the first few months, and it wasn't actually to even hide what I was doing, because I truly actually didn't even care. When I had an OnlyFans, I moved away from my old city. So at that point, I already didn't care what they thought of me, and anything that I was doing. And that was a huge attachment that I had to let go of, because what they thought about me mattered to me for a very long time. So when I moved, I didn't care about them, and that was a huge chunk of people. Then when I started the OnlyFans, I was really transparent around my friends. I let everyone know I was doing it. They were really open people for me to like share that with. I didn't feel scared. I had really open-minded people when it came to sex about that time. So it was a comfy transition to have. I wasn't even worried about my family finding out. I blocked them. I told my siblings, a few siblings at the time, but I like blocked my family just so they don't accidentally see my stuff. But for them finding out, I truly didn't care. There wasn't one person I was worried about finding out about this, to be honest. Like, when my mom told me she found out, I was like, I was waiting for it. I think at this point in time, it was really easy for me to just be on this role of, okay, I'm just gonna do whatever I want, and if people aren't okay with it, bye. Like, my cutoff game during this time of my life was really strong, and so I just truly didn't care. Like, if you had a problem with it, it was just your problem. As someone who struggles financially, what is your best advice with money? I want to say, because I had such a poor relationship with money, I grew up from a family of Black, so we didn't really know how to manage money well. And it was only until COVID actually where I stopped, because we had to stop our whole life, right? So I stopped and I was like, I need to fix something about myself right now. And back then, I didn't like to record anything that I was doing. I just wanted to like just flow, which is bad because it doesn't really keep you aware of what you're actually doing. So when COVID was a thing and I got COVID January 2021, when I was isolated in my room, I was like, hey, I'm gonna budget. Let me just write down all my expenses in like categories and then see where, like, make myself see my transaction. Every time I had a new transaction after that, record it. So I recorded every single transaction I had for like a year. And just to see myself on that, there was the first couple months I was doing it, it definitely came with shame. I'd be like, oh, I can't believe I spent more than I made, blah, blah, blah. I can't believe I spent on this. So it came with a lot of guilt. When I started learning more about money as an energy through TikTok, I started changing. I really wanted to start to change how I viewed it, but then I had so many hits. Like when I quit my serving job and tried to do OnlyFans full time, that wasn't sufficient, and it was a really bad like judgment at the time. But for me, it felt right at the time. It really did. Looking back, now I've learned how to get patient with myself. I knew looking back that was just a very impatient judgment call. And my pride was like, I have to stick with it. I learned a lot about money by really having none. None to the point where I lost my car, I lost my bank account, I was borderline on bankrupt, but I kept like putting it off. I was like, I'm refusing bankruptcy, and I was trying to make it work, and I lost my bank account while I was out in my car homeless. So my money view was so poor. I just don't understand what I'm supposed to be learning about money when I was going through my homeless journey, and then finding through TikTok about money equates to your self-worth and how to make money doing the things you love. I just started being so full force about fudge, I really am so determined on making my money this way, on solely on my own, and not to have anyone interfere, not to trade my time and self to be somewhere for some money, Sorry about that tangent, but honestly, when it comes to best advice for money, I would say to be as aware as possible about your transactions. For me, that would be the best advice, because that's what ultimately changed my paradigm about it originally, because I was so okay with being okay, it's fine, I got paid, credit card, I was just okay, if I don't see it, it's fine type of thing. But that's so harmful for you, especially, and that goes along with everything, right? If you're so complacent about your life, you're oh fuck it, it's gonna equate to something really bad eventually. And that eventually happened with me because I was living my life like that for a while. And it was great. It was great to learn that. Now write everything down, categorize it however you want. Me personally, I categorize it by food and entertainment, bills. That was before. Right now, how I'm calculating, here, I'll explain how I'm calculating it now. You hear that little baby? She's so cute. So cute. Okay, so I have this thing called money moves, right? I calculate all the ways that I make money in its own way, because they come from different forms. I have kind of 3 different streams so far, so I kind of keep them separate. Then with my spending, I categorize them by self-investments. So my self-investments are my bills, groceries, subscriptions to the things I use continuously, therapy, my coach now. So when I'm doing that, I'm putting in my coach. Anything that goes back into where it keeps maintenance for myself. Then I categorize spending and spending and I put spending as just a little bit vague, because it's just what if I bought a pencil here and there, that kind of thing, supplies, stuff like that. So I put it out in that. Then I categorize weed as one, because I want to pay attention to how much I'm spending on weed every month. And Ubers as well, ever since losing my car, because before losing my car, I was trying to gauge how much I was spending on gas. Now I'm seeing how much I'm spending on Ubers. At the end of the month, I just tally, or not tally, but I total like how much I spent, how much I made, and then just like see my difference, and just I write a little note about my difference. And it's not a harsh way either. If like it turns out that it was a I spent more than I made month, I would be like, oh, see why you did that, see where you wanted to spend more in that sense. So I would try to reflect as best as I can on why. If you had one wish for your future, what would it be? Ever since I was young, I've always dreamt of very communal, happy places to be in with everyone. So like, one wish for my future is to bring what I feel like I can bring to making my own family. I want to really inspire that worldwide. I really want to see more love, and I want to kind of be one of the people to help inspire it. That's literally all I want for my future. Just that's all I see, is to just bring hope and love and light to people. And I'm curious on how that's gonna look for me, but I feel like leading by example is gonna be what my future holds, and that's what I would want it to hold. Me being able to lead by example in those things. If you could pick anywhere in the world to move, where would it be? I need to explore more. I don't want to answer that question yet, because I've been to Korea, Laos, Thailand. I don't want to count the resort places because they were just resorts and partying, so I don't really want to count Mexico and Dominican Republic as like actual places I've been to. So I want to go back there again to see things outside the resort. Out of the places I've been to, I haven't been there as my adult life to really see what it's like to live there. So I think I want to travel first, spend time in places. My dream, ever since I was young when it comes to traveling, is to see all of the continents at least once, and at least 3 times in each place. Now that I'm older, that's my bucket list now, to see 3 countries in each continent that we have. I don't think we can do that for Antarctica. I'm gonna make my way to Antarctica one day. Not Atlantis. That's a whole other place over there, Antarctica. Another question is, what makes me happy and how do I relieve stress? Being able to do my whole routine, being able to do my work and rest, that's my happiness. And my happiness in those days includes like being creative in a sense. I haven't been able to fully feel that creativity come out just yet. Like, I haven't touched my crochet, I haven't drew anything, I haven't written any part of my short story yet, like more of it. There's just so many creative projects I put on hold, and the only thing I've been actually doing in my days is working on my marketing, working on my brand, working on my shit, and then watching shows in between. I guess that's kind of new for me to watch shows. There was a long time where I stopped watching shows and just focused fully on my healing. So now I'm watching shows again, and it's kind of like bringing me nostalgia, because I'm like, oh yeah, I enjoy watching other stories. Especially K-dramas. I'm on this really strong hook of K-dramas right now, rotating between like a romantic comedy to a serious one, and then just back and forth of those, because there's so many and I fucking love it. How do I relieve stress? I relieve stress by now, I either turn on music and go on a walk, or I just go on a walk without music. I'm starting to do that lately more now, especially if I'm around more green area, then I'll do it. If I'm more in a city area, I'll have my earphones in, but if I'm around a lot of trees, I like to try to walk without earphones now. Walking in itself is a huge stress reliever for me. Has been noticed that it always works, because I'm just such a, like, when I'm anxious, I need to move, and walking is just the best, because that shit you can do for hours. Other ways, if I'm inside, it's kind of a bad habit right now, but when I'm inside and I'm stressed and being outside is not really an option, or if I'm kind of going through a spiral where I'm like, oh, outside's not gonna work, sometimes I just smoke weed, if I'm being honest. It's just my fast reliever that I know works. And I have a really on and off relationship with how I feel about weed. I know I rely on it sometimes too much, but I also have really strong moments of why I'm using it for. I guess I could see when I'm using it just cause, and then when I'm using it intentionally. So I guess I get a little bit hard on myself when I use it just cause. Should I? I've also learned, especially when I'm mentally stuck, talking out loud helps so much. So I've been recording myself and not posting, but rewatching it, or I call a friend who I feel I could trust with that moment in my life, which is cute because I've been able to rotate between two. What's my ideal job? My ideal job is what I'm doing right now. I don't know how to say it better than that. I feel like I get a lot of looks because I'm not rich yet, because I'm not bouncing and swimming in money. Like, I feel like when people hear the word entrepreneur, you just automatically think rich, you automatically think privilege, you just automatically think all those things. But how much more fun is it to see an entrepreneur story start from zero? Those stories are always the best, you know, but people don't see the proof of those until there's actual product. So I feel like until I'm under my own roof and have like my name under my own place, then people will take what I'm doing more seriously. But for right now, my ideal job is what I'm doing. Like, I love how I make money. I absolutely love how I make money right now. I can see more and better and extravagant ways on how I can make money, but it's based on what I'm doing right now. Like, everything I'm doing right now, I feel like is groundwork. It's laying the foundation for something amazing. Even though I'm still on this trajectory of a struggle, it's been like a year and a half. It's been about a year and a half of this struggle. I've already overcome the year and a half that has been spent, and I've seen an incline. I've seen an incline this whole time, and that came like from a heart space incline to now slowly seeing like my financial incline. So it's all within time. I'm so consistent. I do what I can every day, prioritize like balance. I prioritize balance a lot. So if I feel like sometimes I'm overdoing work, I'll just kind of not. I'll stop. Like if I notice I'm doing too much work like midday, I'll stop for the rest of the day. Or if I work too much throughout one day, the next day I make myself rest. There's like a nice balance, and I know how to prioritize what I need at that time. And I know that if I ever go into like an overdrive work mode, it's because I'm anxious about how things are turning out, and it's like my control of like trying to make something work more than it's already in the works of happening. I'm at this point where I'm in full complete trust and surrender mode. It's really fun. It's really refreshing. It's so different. But I told myself as soon as I landed here, I was like, you're new. You came out of your comfort zone to land in a brand new place with a brand new scenario. Here's your chance to be that brand new you. The first night that I got here, to be transparent, I literally freaked out, and I was scared. I was like, oh my god, part of me wishes I could go back right now. And I was just thinking of all the things that I could be scared of still, and like things that not could go wrong, but potentially how I can get out of the situation if it turns left, which fucking sucks. Now, as I'm seeing how things are unfolding here, I'm like, I think I can be more open to seeing how this surrender and trust will look like, because I'm so comfy now. All I really asked for when I was going through it was a safe roof. So every time I felt like I had a safe roof to kind of get my groundings together, I was able to flourish. And whenever I didn't feel like it, I didn't have a roof anymore, I was just in panic survival mode. So now that I'm kind of really set in a place where I can go right back into doing me, I feel really good. I feel so good. If you have any more questions or curious about anything, please feel free to drop them below. Honestly, I love answering questions. I love answering questions about myself. It feeds my Gemini Venus when other people are curious about me, because I'm so curious about other people. I can ask people endless things. So when I get it back, oh my god, I'm literally like, I love it. And like, I'm a Leo, so it's like so validating. I'm like, So yeah, I appreciate your time in watching all of this. Thank you so much. I'm truly looking forward to seeing how the rest of this week goes, this month goes, just taking it day by day still, but being very happy and like full of gratitude. I am beyond grateful for where I am right now. This is like past my expectations of any kind of help I could receive. What's really hard for me is to visualize material things for myself. And I was having this talk with my coach because it's a fear at this point, because everything that I got excited for got taken away. And when I lost my car, it was just like that last part of attachment I had to something material, and I was really scared to want something like that again. It was a period of that, and she's trying to help me overcome it. I'm still trying to overcome it myself. Like when I visualize my life and how I want it to look, it's like what I'm doing, like how I like what I'm actively doing, who I might be seeing, and the experiences I might be, or not I might be, but the experience I'm going to be having. Yet when someone's like, okay, but what do you want your house to look like? I'm like, oh, oh, oh. Like I've always said I wanted my own house, my own roof, but now it's just like, okay, but what about the details? I'm like, the details? I'm really bad when you say details. I get scared. I get a little scared about details. But lately I've been seeing like TikToks come up about like places I might be interested in, and I'm like, okay, I think this is my in on like visualizing. I think I actually had to see things and kind of get inspired based off the things I was seeing. I think it was because I felt like I could be content anywhere. That's why I also didn't really care. Even when it came to driving, I'm like, I'm always gonna stick with that Toyota. I think that's all I care about, Toyota. Let's see how life goes. Thanks for watching. I love you so much. Thanks for watching this Q&A, my first Q&A.